Hello friends, and it's the funkyplaybrothers, and please remember to subscribe to YouTube. And today we're reading part 5 of an original novel, Piggy the Cured by CRAWFORD, number 2 for After Piggy the Infected, part 5, where we start chapter. Okay. The train station looked exactly the same as Ben remembered it. Perhaps it in a greater state of decay. Is that were possible? He scanned the crowd for Bunny, not sure he was relieved or disappointed when he didn't see a telltale pair of oversized ears sticking out of the crowd of infected people. A dull whine told Ben that his taser was ready, and he fired at the first of the infected to advance towards him. Like always, it only seemed to stun the giant creature for around 10 seconds, but sometimes that was all you needed. The creatures lurched toward the group, moving in the strange, gliding way that only the infected could. The group split up, each drawing their own crowd of infected toward them. All his time on the streets of Lucella seemed to have served him well. He dipped, ducked, dove, and dodged like a professional. The glowing eyes of the infected barely able to keep up with him. They rigid legs. Badgy seemed to want to tease the infected. Each thrust and parry of his glowing rod seemed to stun them for less than a minute. But he would use this time to his advantage, discombing several of the creatures at once. And then there was Billy, whose massive strength seemed to make all these creatures little more than an annoyance to him. He casually knocked yet another of an infected tied with his giant barbell. The creature's head lolling down as it went to a blissful 10-second nap. Ben looked around the subway station. The dull whine reminded him that he had a fully charged taser at his disposal. He fired the machine again, an electric charge sending another one of the infected into a seizing fit. Ben stepped over the creature, apologizing quietly as the thing snarled and growled before falling into what Ben assumed was a peaceful doze. Ben peered over his friend's shoulder again, waiting for the sound to tell him that he was safe to use Officer Darby's taser gun. Finally, he saw what looked like for a pair of yellow orbs floating in the endless mass of angry red ones. As the floating yellow beams grew closer, they illuminated the metro station passageway, scaring some of the infected away. The yellow high beams of the train came to a stop just in front of the group. Ben ran down the stairs, desperate to take this train out of here. Normally Ben was fine to catch the next one, but the stakes were a little bit higher here. The smell of old outdoor puddle filled Ben's nostrils. As he made a break for an open train door, one of the infected creatures popped up between Ben and the air-conditioned train car meant to take him to his next destination. As if by habit, Ben gripped the handle of Officer Darby, rubbing sweating fingers. Clutching the trigger, Ben squeezed it, expecting the infected boar to go down with a squeal of rage, expecting the taser to release a charge and buy him 10 seconds that he so desperately needed. This time, expecting anything but the dull click of a taser that had not yet had time to recharge. Ben cursed his luck as he threw the temporarily useless zombie deterrent back into Officer Doggy's backpack. The thing roared, making it instantly and abundantly clear that whatever these infected creatures valued, it was not dental hygiene. The boar lifted its massive arm, threatening to attack Ben with a thwack that resonated across the carved walls of the train. It was laid out by simulations, blows from a steel bar, a glowing rod, and a weightlifter barbell. It was Ollie's turn to pull Ben to his feet. Come on, man. You have to stand clear of the closing doors, Ollie said, a hint of a grin crossing his youthful face. Was Ollie quipping, and now Ben would have to get him away from Badgie as soon as possible. When this was all over, he noticed he leapt to his feet, joining Ollie, Badgie, and Billy on the train just as the door whisked closed. Infected pressed their lifeless faces against the glass of the window as it pulled away, leaving all of them as nothing but pairs of glowing eyes in the darkness. The foursome took turns sleeping as the train made its stops around Lucella after making sure that their car was zombie-free and barricading the door with Ollie's steel bar and Billy's barbell. They figured they might as well sleep. You never know when you were going to be able to stop and get some rest these days. And the predictable schedule of arrivals and departures from each stop was like being rocked to sleep by your city's infrastructure. Ben didn't know how many times they had ridden the train from top to bottom before they all no longer felt exhausted. Feeling rested was a luxury that Ben couldn't remember since leaving the safe place. Speaking of the safe place, Ben considered checking in with Willow on the silver pot. He knew that she would just press them for information, then send her men into danger to try to scoop the cure herself. She had most likely been trying to reach out to them, but it worked out just fine for Ben. The walkie-talkie signal did not penetrate underground. When the train lurched to a halt, this time the Quert stood groggily, expected that their arduous mission had to continue sometime for a moment. Ben wouldn't have been content to stop there and riddle the train with his friends forever, stay together. But if Ben and his friends didn't find proof of a cure, then that safety and togetherness was over for hundreds of other people all across the island of Lucella, and maybe beyond the train station they arrived at was much less popular than the one they had come from, and as a result had far fewer of the infecting lingering around. With a loud groaning sound, Billy unwrapped the barbell and steel rod from the ground and around the doors of the train, tossing the rebar back to Ollie. Ollie flinched but caught the piece of metal nevertheless. Ben looked to his friends as the train doors closed and the train whooshed away, taking their only sense of safety for the past few days with it. He waved his hands toward the ground, gesturing for them to put their weapons down and pressed a single finger to. And that's where we'll end it for today. For Piggy the Cure, an original novel. #2. So, friends, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter at the Funky Play Bros. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Funky Play Brothers. Support our vlog at cashapp at the $ Funky Play Brothers. So we have more unboxings, more taste tests, more adventures, more monies, and support. Thanks for watching. Bye. That's why I gave you time.